If you're hearing this now, it's not by chance. There's a reason this message has reached you, and the sooner you understand this, the faster your life will change. Have you ever felt like something was off? Like you're living in a reality that doesn't make sense? A restlessness that won't go away? Maybe you can't quite explain it, but your body feels it. It could be a shiver, a tightness in your chest, a feeling that something is about to change, and that change is happening right now. The question is, are you ready to hear the truth? The truth they never told you. The truth that, if you understand it, can change everything. But let me warn you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But before we go any further, stop. Just for a moment. Do you feel that silence? It's always been here, beneath everything. In the space between one thought and the next. In the pause before your next breath. In that moment of hesitation before making a decision. Maybe you never noticed it before, but it's always present. And that silence is not empty. Since you were born, they taught you to run from it. They kept you distracted with noise, responsibilities, constant stimulation. There's always something to do, something to think about, something to fix. But have you ever noticed that when everything quiets down, when the world's noise fades, a strange feeling emerges, like something is waiting to be noticed? That's where the truth hides. You've tried to fill it in every way possible. Social media, work, entertainment, empty conversations. But nothing works, because that silence is not a mistake. It's not asking to be filled. It's a portal, an invitation to look beyond what your eyes can see. The ancients knew this. They called this space the voice of the gods, the whisper of the universe, the field of all possibilities. It's not mystical or distant. It's real. It has always been within your reach. But to access it, there is only one requirement. You have to stop resisting. And that is the hardest challenge. Because resisting is all you've been taught to do. You fill your mind with endless thoughts, keep yourself busy all the time, distract yourself before something deeper can emerge. But what if, instead of running, you simply observed? Your mind will try to trick you. It will tell you that this silence is uncomfortable, that it's dangerous, that it brings up things you don't want to deal with. But what if it's the exact opposite? What if this silence is the key? If you pay attention, you'll see that it's not an absence. It has a texture, a weight, almost a presence. It holds something, an answer, a memory, a map that can only be read when you stop trying to fill it and start listening to it. The silence that led you here, that space where answers begin to emerge, now blends with a strange, almost unsettling feeling. You look around and realize that the world is no longer the same. Certainties crumble. What once felt solid now seems unstable. Everything is speeding up. Wars, natural disasters, social collapses. A part of you wonders, has it always been this way, or are we reaching the limit of something much bigger? The truth is, it's not just your imagination. Ancient civilizations already knew this moment would come. The Mayans, Hindus, Egyptians, indigenous tribes, and even biblical prophets described a great transition, a breaking point between one era and another. They didn't speak of the end of the world, but the end of a cycle, a time when everything hidden would be revealed. And now it's happening before your eyes. The planet is changing. Scientifically, we know that Earth is receiving more energy than ever, moving through a photon-dense region of the cosmos, altering its electromagnetic field. And it's not just the planet. You're feeling this change too. Your body, your mind, your perception of reality. Nothing seems to fit quite right anymore, as if we're being forced to see something we've avoided for too long. And maybe that's it. Maybe this global crisis isn't a collapse, but an awakening. Something that needs to fall apart so that something else can emerge. Ancient scriptures spoke of the separation of the wheat from the chaff, the purification of the earth, a new cycle that would begin after a period of chaos. But these words weren't empty metaphors. They described exactly what we're living through right now. The planetary transition. But what's behind all of this? What's really going on? The answer isn't just in the news or the theories trying to explain the chaos. It's in something much bigger, something that science and spirituality, long seen as separate, are now beginning to recognize as part of the same phenomenon. Earth isn't just a physical planet, it's a living, pulsating organism connected to the cosmos in ways we're only beginning to understand. And right now, it's passing through a region of the universe filled with an energy unlike anything we've ever experienced before. Scientists call it the photon belt, a dense area of highly energetic particles that interact with our planet's electromagnetic field. And this interaction is changing everything. The intense storms, unexpected earthquakes, and sudden climate shifts, these are all reflections of this new energy that Earth is absorbing. But this transformation isn't just geophysical, it's vibrational too. And here's the part most people don't realize. Just as Earth is changing, so are we. Because this energy doesn't just affect the oceans, tectonic plates, and atmosphere, it moves through everything. And that includes you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your perception of the world. Maybe you've already felt it. Maybe you've noticed that your sensitivity has increased, that your emotions feel more intense, that things you used to accept without question now bother you deeply. Maybe you've realized that certain people, places, or habits no longer make sense to you like they once did. This is not a coincidence. We are vibrating at a higher frequency, and when vibration shifts, anything that doesn't align with the new energy starts to break down. Old beliefs, toxic patterns, relationships that no longer resonate, jobs that don't nourish the soul. Everything is being brought to the surface so it can be transformed. And this change is not optional. It's happening whether you're aware of it or not. But there's one thing only you can decide. Resist and stay trapped in a reality that's falling apart, or allow yourself to become part of this new frequency that's emerging. The world around you seems out of control. Wars, crises, environmental destruction, but the chaos we see out there didn't come from nowhere. It's not just a historical accident or a random chain of events. The truth is, the external world is just a mirror of what's happening inside the collective consciousness. If there's division, it's because human beings are divided within themselves. If there's fear, it's because billions of minds are feeding into it at the same time. This might seem like an abstract idea, but it's something that has always been present in the world's oldest spiritual traditions. Wise teachers from different times and cultures have all taught the same thing. Reality is not fixed. It is shaped by what we believe is possible. They told us the world is already set, that the rules are unchangeable, that nothing can be different from what it is. But what if that's not true? What if we're stuck in an illusion simply because we believe in it? Let me share a story with you. Deep in an ancient forest, two groups of birds lived side by side. On one side, the crows, on the other, the nightingales. The crows were intelligent and practical, but they lived in a constant state of alertness. They believed the world was a dangerous place, full of hidden threats. They always told each other, "Danger is everywhere. You must always be ready to fight or flee." The nightingales, on the other hand, believed the forest was a place of abundance. They sang every morning, confident that they would always find food and shelter. While the crows spent their days worrying about the dangers of the forest, the nightingales simply flew, explored, and discovered new fruits and hidden streams among the trees. One day, a great storm hit the forest. The wind knocked down trees, the rain soaked the branches, and for a few days it seemed like nothing would ever go back to normal. The crows gathered in their dark nests and said, "We told you, the world is cruel. The storm destroyed everything. Now things will only get worse." But when the nightingales emerged after the storm, they saw something different. Where trees had fallen, sunlight now reached the ground, allowing new seeds to sprout. Small streams had formed from the rain, bringing fresh water to places that had once been dry. "Look," they told each other, "the forest is renewing itself. This wasn't destruction, it was transformation." And so, while the crows hid away, expecting the worst, the nightingales found new opportunities. The interesting thing, the forest was the same. What changed was how each of them chose to see it. And that's exactly how reality works. If you believe the world is falling apart, your mind will look for proof of it everywhere. If you believe a new path is opening, you'll start seeing signs of that transformation. What would happen if, collectively, we started shifting our perception? If instead of feeding fear, we nurtured new possibilities? If, instead of expecting the worst, we started creating what we want to see? Human consciousness is a powerful vibrational field. Everything we feel, think, and believe resonates through the fabric of the universe. And now, more than ever, that reality is being put to the test. The question is, will you see the storm as destruction or as renewal? The illusion of fear and the choice of transformation. But to create this new reality, to see beyond the chaos and illusion, there's something you need to understand before anything else. You were never small. That was the biggest lie they ever told you. Since childhood, the world tried to convince you that you were just another person with no real impact, no real significance. You were taught to fit in, not to question, to follow the path already laid out for you. They told you that some people were born to make a difference, but that most were just here to exist, without much to offer. But what if that's not true? What if, in reality, the simple fact that you exist is already an essential piece in the grand design of life? Think about it. No star in the sky shines exactly the same. No tree leaf has the same pattern. No fingerprint is ever repeated. The universe doesn't create copies. It creates uniqueness. So why would you, of all things, be insignificant? The truth is, you've always felt there was something different about you. There's always been a restlessness, a sharp perception, a sense that something more exists beyond what you were told. You've tried to ignore it, tried to fit in, or tried to go with the flow. But deep down, you always knew it didn't work. Because you didn't come here to mold yourself to the world. You came here to shape the world with your presence. And that's exactly why fear shows up. Because when you start realizing your true power, everything inside you stirs. Fear doesn't appear because something is wrong. It appears because something is about to change. And here's a secret most people don't realize. Every real transformation begins with fear. A bird's first flight is filled with fear. A child's first step is uncertain, shaky. The first dive into the unknown always comes with that rush in your stomach, that hesitation, but it's that very fear that proves something new is being born. And now you're standing before a choice. You can shrink back, cling to what's familiar, try to convince yourself that it's not the right time yet, or you can take the next step. The question is, how long will you wait? The shift has already begun, and it's not stopping. It's not going to wait for you to be completely ready, because no one is ever completely ready. But those who step through the portal, those who embrace transformation, discover something others will never get the chance to know. They discover that on the other side of fear, there is a freedom that can't be explained, and now it's all up to you. The power of conscious action. But crossing this portal requires more than just understanding. Knowing isn't enough. Feeling isn't enough. You have to act. And that action doesn't start in the external world. It starts within, because every real transformation is born first in the invisible, in the way you think, feel, and see life. Every choice, no matter how small, creates ripples that spread far beyond what your eyes can see. A word spoken with truth. A thought aligned with the new frequency. A moment of courage when fear tries to hold you back. We often expect change to come from something big, something extraordinary. But what if it's the exact opposite? What if the real revolution is quiet, subtle, built day by day by those who dare to act in alignment with what they truly believe? Because the truth is, we are not alone. Do you feel it? There are others awakening too. People who, without even knowing, share the same restlessness, the same search, the same truth that refuses to stay hidden. Maybe you've already crossed paths with them without realizing it. Maybe you've felt that unexplainable connection with someone, as if you knew them long before saying a word. That recognition doesn't happen in the mind. It happens in the soul. And with every new awakening, more light ignites in the world. Think about this. One single flame can light up the darkness, but when many flames come together, They become a wildfire, and that is exactly what's happening now. What was once a distant whisper is becoming a chorus. What was once a lonely path is turning into a shared journey. But there's something only you can decide. Now that you know, now that you feel, now that this truth has resonated within you, what will you do with it? Because knowledge without action becomes just another weight, another ignored truth, another wasted possibility. You can keep waiting for something to change, or you can be part of the change. You can hide, pretend this message didn't find you for a reason, or you can accept the call. And if you don't know where to start, the answer is in the simplicity of now. Here are two powerful practices that can help you tune your mind and spirit to this new frequency, transforming the way you perceive reality and, in turn, what you attract into your life. The practice of active gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It's a powerful vibrational frequency, capable of shifting your perception of life and transforming even the hardest moments. When you focus on what's already good, your brain literally rewires itself to see opportunities instead of obstacles. But for this to work, gratitude has to become a conscious and daily habit. Every day, either when you wake up or before going to sleep, grab a notebook and write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. They can be simple things like the taste of the coffee you had this morning, the hug from someone you love, the gentle breeze that touched your face during a moment of rest. The secret is to truly feel this gratitude, not just list things mechanically. Close your eyes for a few seconds, visualize these moments, and allow that feeling to fill your body. Neuroscience has already proven that gratitude reduces stress, improves sleep quality, and even strengthens the immune system. But more than that, when you vibrate gratitude, your energy aligns with even more experiences to be grateful for. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you feel. Conscious observation, training your perception for the present. We live on autopilot. We wake up, check our phones, rush through responsibilities, and constantly distract ourselves. But life only happens in the now. Most worries come from a mind trapped in the future. Most pain comes from a mind clinging to the past. If you learn to live in the present, you'll realize that suffering loses its power over you. The practice of conscious observation is simple but profound. Choose a moment in your day to pause and just observe. It could be while drinking a glass of water, listening to ambient sounds, or even while walking. Feel the experience as it is. If it's a glass of water, notice the temperature, the taste, the way it moves through your body. If it's a sound, try to distinguish each detail. If it's the wind, feel the texture of the air against your skin. Whenever you notice your mind drifting to worries, bring it back to the now. This practice might seem simple, but it changes your relationship with life. The more present you are, the more you'll notice the small miracles that have always been around you but went unseen. And as your attention shifts to the now, anxiety fades, intuition strengthens, and you start to see what's always been there. The answers the universe has been sending you. The change starts within. The choice is yours. It always has been. And before you go, there's something important waiting for you. I've prepared a special video for you to take the next step on this journey. A deep dive into everything we've talked about here, showing you how to apply it to your life in a real practical way. So don't leave just yet. Click the video on the screen now, and I'll meet you there. See you on the other side.